Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like watching and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen folks, there's a link tree down below. Has links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there, follow me across all my social media platforms and talk to me because I talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages and turn your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Now with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about the New York Jets running back situation. This is my evaluation of the position, as it stands, some of the guys that we have here. And I'm also going to talk about some of the things that we can do to really help better this position and also help running backs, going on into the future and really get our running game going as it should in this offensive system. So I'm going to talk about some of the backs. I'm not going to talk about every single one because the video would be forever. But I'm just going to talk about some of the impact guys and some of the free agents that we have going into free agency. So first, I'm going to start with Michael Carter. Listen, this is a kid that we got in the draft in the late mid rounds. And he was a guy that we brought in and drafted. A lot of people were excited about him. I was excited about him. We were definitely shocked that he was still there for the taking when we were, drafting. But this is a kid that came in and made immediate impact. He was phenomenal playmaker, okay? Ended up, with the season, 639 yards in a season. He also had 4 TDs, and we saw some games where he really showed us what time it was. Again, he made an impact on multiple fronts. If you look at one of the games, the big games that he had against the Bengals, he had 77 yards rushing. He had a TD. He also had 95 yards receiving. Now, that's big because he's showing us that he can be that dual threat. Right? He's showing us he can be one of those backs in the league that not only can he scorch you if you hand the ball off to him, he's going to find the right hole, he's going to hit the hole, and he's going to definitely abuse whatever the defense is doing. But he's also showing you that you can line him up in the passing game, or he can come out of the backfield in the passing game as well and really affect the game that way too, because he was eating up a lot of his matchups. I mean, he was a matchup nightmare at times, and we saw our quarterbacks often just dump the ball down into him, specifically when they were under pressure, and he was able to go and make plays with his speed and athleticism. So that showed us a lot of something. He also had 118 yards this year against the Jaguars when we played them. Now, he was the only 100-yard rusher that we had the entire season. I'm going to say this again. He was the only running back, okay? He was the only one running back that we had that had over 100 yards this entire season. That is huge, okay? That's huge. Now, he did have a concussion this season. He missed a little bit of time, but, he was relatively healthy this season. This was a kid that really played well, and I could really see him excelling and going far in this league. And it's big to have a weapon like this, an offensive weapon on a New York Jets team, a franchise that historically has been starved offensively, especially when we talk about weapons. Here we have a weapon and a guy that we can continue forward with, a guy that fits a piece in a building block that we need to move forward with in our rebuild and for our young quarterback. Now, a big thing that I think that needs to come and help those running back situations, particularly Michael Carter, to help him get better, is we need to better our offensive line. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this because for some reason, somewhere, people have gotten this idea that the New York Jets have a top 10 offensive line. I've heard some Jets fans say that, and I've had people argue with me that we're a top 10 or the 11th best offensive line in the league. I've also heard people start talking about, our center. Connor McGovern's a top 10 center. I am here to tell y'all that I don't know where y'all got that from, but that is not true and it is not factual. This offensive line needs to be improved at quite a bit of positions still up front. There's still some things that we need to solve, particularly our center position and our right guard position. Now, again, our left tackle, right tackle position is in flux because of what's going on with Mekhi Becton, and we'll see what happens with him and George Fant and their battle. And we could still address that right tackle position in the draft as well. But when I hear people talking about how great our offensive line is, I'm like, okay, well, then why is our running game 27th in the league? Why do we have the 27th ranked rushing game in the league in a run-first offense? Might I add, okay? We literally run what the Niners run. That's our offense, okay? We're running the Shanahan offense here. Why is our offensive rushing game ranked 27th in the league if we have this top offensive line, right? We got a Pro Bowl guard in Elijah Vera Tucker. We have a very solid left tackle this year, George Fant, who played most of the year at left tackle. And you got a top 10 center at Connor McGovern, but we're ranked 27th in the league of rushing. Something's not right here. I would like to see Joe Douglas go out and address that center and right guard position, free agency, via the draft, whatever, because that's going to help us open up the running game and really get us to where we need to be going. And that will do nothing but help Zach Wilson as well take some of the pressure off of him. And also, in passing game as well, we have better offensive linemen. It's going to give him more time to find guys out there. But again, we're talking about the running back situation here. Our guys up front have got to open up holes for our backs to run through. Only having 100-yard rusher this entire year is unacceptable, especially, again, when you're running the Shanahan offense. And again, if you look at how we're supposed to be built, we're literally supposed to be built like the San Francisco 49ers. And that team literally has a myriad of running backs, no-name guys. You wouldn't know them if they was walking down the street next to you. But they're running for tons of yards every single season. And they're near or they're either at the top or near the top of rushing offense every single year with a bunch of guys. It's because their offensive line dominates up front and their scheme is solid. So we've got to do better dominating up front. So I think Michael Carter, again, is a guy that I cannot wait to see going into the future with him. He's phenomenal. Then you look at the guy like Ty Johnson, who I think had a disappointing season this season. Lots of drops. He had balls that literally would come off his hand, turn into interceptions. He had fumbles in critical times this year. He has got to clean it up, okay, especially going into next year. I think he's going to be battling for a spot next year as well. But we'll see how he comes back. He's got to rebound off of this season. Austin Walter is a guy that stepped in and looked very solid at times for us when we handed him the ball. He got his time due to some injuries that would happen within the running back situation, and he made the most of it. That is a guy that I think has played his way into really competing for a spot next year, and he's a guy that could end up being within the rotation. Absolutely could. So we'll see what Austin continues to give us into next season. Tevin Coleman is going to be an unrestricted free agent. He's an older guy, came in familiar with the system as well from a running back perspective. So he's a guy that gave us some quality snaps and did his things, but I could see the New York Jets allowing him to walk into free agency and, going after some backs, because again, he is a 29-year-old guy. Now, some of the guys that they could target in free agency, Leonard Fournette is out there. I've heard a lot of Jets fans rumbling about him, rumbling about we need that big back that can come in and really bruise things up. He's a guy that could do that. Also, another guy that could be out there as well in free agency, Matt Breida. Now, Matt Breida has a lot of familiarity with the system. He's a guy that I can see come in and have an impact within the running back situation as well. But again, if Ty Johnson improves, I could see them going into the season with Michael Carter, Ty Johnson, and Austin Walter. I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Again, the draft is going to be there as well. There could be some backs late in the draft or even some undrafted guys as well that they could be looking at to come in and fill some roles within a running back situation too. So all in all, I think the New York Jets are looking pretty solid, especially with Michael Carter here at the back, man. What a phenomenal draft pick by Joe Douglas. So comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. How do you folks feel about the New York Jets running back situation? What are your thoughts about Michael Carter in the season he had? What are some guys that you'd like to see the New York Jets target in free agency or even the draft to come in and help? So comment down below. Let's go back and forth. You folks have a good one. Peace.